You're now listening to Type 88 on Maker Park Radio with Dave Noodles. Don't stop dreaming.
Yeah. It's Dave Noodles. This is episode 36. How ironic. In the home of the Wu-Tang. It's a Wu-Tang Wednesday up in Shaolin. We got a special guest. Fresh off the release of his new album. After selling out bootleg Mannings. And dropping a Shaolin banger. I got the one and only Kode. What's good, man?
Yo, that intro was crazy. No pressure. What's goody? I'm good. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. What's up?
It's good to have you here, man.
It's good to be here. How are you?
I'm doing well. Having a great holiday. You know, had some hiccups, some family stuff, but you know, you can't always predict what's gonna happen. You just gotta kind of be ready and jump to when people need you. You gotta come through.
Right. I had a. These last 2 months have been very interesting, to say the least. Like so many up and downs the same too. So yeah, hopefully we end 2019 with something good. So yeah, man.
But it's been an amazing year. So many great things happening. So many great people sending us music. And you know, speaking of music, I know you've been making music for a little bit.
Yay.
Maybe let's try to go back to the root of it. Ooh. Was there like that album that you heard and you were just like, oh man, I gotta do this. I gotta make music.
You know what? It wasn't really like, I think it was overall music in general, because I was exposed to a lot of it in a lot of different ways. And, like my first instance was, when I used to be, I have family down south, and, I had a grandmother and a lot of aunts, and I would watch them just get around a table and start singing hymns. I mean, like harmonizing. I'm just like sitting on the floor eating plums and shit, real country type shit. And I'm like, oh wow. So like that kind of exposure. And then also like I had a lot of generation. Like I would be my grandparents and they're like busting out the 8-track in the trunk and we're playing like Barry White, Need a Baker, Earth, Wind and Fire, Rolls Royce. And then I'll be my mom and then she's playing Destiny's Child. I'm talking about like full-blown Beyonce, Total, Junior Mafia, and then with me, it's just like growing up in school, like classical band, jazz band, symphonic band. So it's like, and then also my own generation, you know, early 2000s, you know, do it for the 2000 type of jump off. So yeah, so music has always been, like I always say, like it's always been like a parent, you know. So I was alone a lot as a kid, so I was like very self-sufficient. So you could find me in radios like Lauryn Hill, Fugees, everything was on, so I'd be right there. You know, Legos and music, that was it. So, yeah. Literally, so.
We were both from different towns or whatever, but similar things to work with and inspire me. I remember Legos were I never really followed the instructions. It was just.
Who cares? If you got an imagination, are you really following like? I mean, yeah, nobody's really following directions. I mean, if you are, kudos to you, like. That's lit, but nah, we're not following directions. No.
Yeah, and in terms of directions, how did you kind of find your direction? Because I know finding music, we all start. I remember I was in music once, and for a little bit of time in my life, and I feel the direction I went with was similar to what I was hearing. You know, I was picking stuff from Eminem. I was picking stuff from Jadakiss. Right. Those were kind of the rappers that really taught me a lot.
Right.
And I would sound like them. But when I've been hearing your stuff, I'm like, what's this guy do? Who do you even listen to? You know, because it's like, and it's cool because you were talking about band, you were talking about symphonics and different stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah. Honestly, I was listening to a lot of things that were unconventional, that weren't really on the radio, that weren't really played like that. Definitely a lot of like punkish, black punk, like, and like just a fusion of music. When I was really like when I started taking music seriously, like, okay, I can do this, but it was like different forms, like definitely in junior high school when I was like really into music, and my mom couldn't afford my habit of like this is days of burning CDs.
Yeah.
So my mom definitely couldn't afford my musical habit. So she would always like get these like right here on Bay Street, it used to be the store open. They used to sell mad bootlegs, Pokemon cards, everything, you name it. Y'all know what I'm talking about if y'all like. Tompkinsville used to be that place. It used to be that store right there. And she used to, fill my habit up. So I was always on the latest stuff, like songs that weren't even supposed to come out, like down south music too, like down south rap is my shit, like David Banner, Bun B, like all of those. And also I was listening to a lot. What influenced me was Jay Davy, Flying Lotus, Thundercat, Erykah Badu, Green Day, Evanescence, a lot of those. And also like at the very impressionable age, I'm taking jazz band, symphonic band, so all of those sounds that were just like, it was just nonstop me just like taking in James Fauntleroy, Stacey Barth, Miguel, definitely, Don Richard, just really, my ear kind of grown to them because of the idea of what music could be, where they were taking music. It was something new for me. So I was just like, oh, what is that? That sounds like something I could imagine myself like, or contributing. Like, really, I didn't hear a lot of like music with rocking out and then a rapper getting on it right after, or like hearing a violin. I mean, not until like early 2000s and stuff like that with like Jay-Z and stuff,
Yeah.
And I wanted to hear more like that. I wanted to hear genres just fused together. I didn't really hear genres. I just heard vibes. Like, I didn't really care about, and I still don't to this day, I don't really care about genres. I care about a vibe, like where we're going with this vibe, and let's make something cooler. Let's surprise people like that, So
I like that because I feel like a lot of things these days could be formula,
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, come in after the 4.
Yeah.
With the hook.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's working.
Right.
But it's cool to just kind of, I love when it doesn't really work. You wouldn't think it works, but then it's like, oh,
right.
That actually really works.
Yeah. That's how I see it. I see music as like, like food, just like food, if you will. Like, music for me is like food. It's like, okay, those kids don't know what they want, but I mean, they know what they want, but they don't know what they need, kind of thing. Like, like they're not gonna eat vegetables. I'm a big ass piece of broccoli. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I definitely had to like work my way in to people's palates a little bit, and mix a little cheese or noodles in there. It's like, oh shit, this macaroni and cheese. Like, what's that green shit? I don't care. It's good. Like, and then like,
got it, yeah.
Next song, like you're eating full blown broccoli. So it's just like, I see music as like that, like kind of introduce myself slowly but surely. I know my sound is kind of like different, but the elements are so familiar to like most people. So you may not like rap, but you definitely do like, the popish side of it, and that's kind of like a soft introduction. Next thing you know, you and mosh pitting, you know what I'm saying, to one of my tracks. So I kind of like introducing and bringing everybody to the table, because I'm not forcing. It's just my style of how I see music, how I want it to be. So yeah, I think that's a nice little introduction for everybody to just like, hey, just listen. Doesn't matter what politics, doesn't matter where you're from, what color, what race, whatever. It's just music, So
that's great, man. I think it's just so cool that you found your way. And in terms of, just the creative process, did you just start writing songs out from the gate, or was it an evolution to kind of get to that point where you were making songs like, we all start, we're writing stuff, we're writing poetry, you're scribbling
right.
in the doodle pad, we're writing love songs,
yeah,
but there's no verse, there's no hook, there's
right.
no intro. When did things become a little more serious?
Things definitely became a little bit more serious. Like, I was singing all my life, so it was just a constant thing. I didn't even know I was doing it. I just like to do it. But I really started taking myself seriously in, I would say about high school, sophomore year. But like, I really started to develop a lot of things back in junior high school, because we used to cut ass on our friends and make songs up. So like, it was this one friend. I'm not gonna blow them up because they're still friends, but like, it was this one song I remember, like, remember "Pump It Up" by Joe Budden.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That was his song?
Yeah, so we used to be like, eat it up. And like we just used to start freestyling to that, like going off the bat, like, you know, or like the Whisper song, you know, we used to be like, yo, he was big, but like he was like instead of saying what was the Whisper song?
Come on,
we used
now,
to be
Shawty,
like
let me whisper in your ear.
peanut butter cups, peanut butter cups, peanut butter cups.
Okay, so you would,
so funny, like it was so funny. But
you would flip songs.
yeah, I would flip songs.
Like
me and my friend would flip songs, make jingles and shit like that. And then like when I started taking myself seriously, not as an artist but kind of as a songwriter, because I was like mad insecure about my own voice. I sound like L.W.A, like it sound like I eat helium for breakfast. So I was dead. Like I'm not singing. I'm gonna get somebody else to sing my songs. But yeah, I really started just writing songs, and then like the melodies just kept coming, and it was just like an impulse. So I just had to do it, and yeah, until it was about, you know, college year, freshman year, where it's like I was like, I'm gonna lay low. I'm gonna, you know, follow the rules. I'm gonna do this stupid major that I don't care about. I'm gonna lay low. And like music was always at hand though. It just always kept coming back and stalking me. And I took songwriting serious, and people was like, nah, I think you need to. Even the engineers would be like, I think you need to get in this booth. Like, I think you have something to say. You really should. Yeah, you should jump in there. So yeah, it was a unanimous decision by everybody. I was like, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna just do it. All right. So yeah, yeah, and that's how that all worked. It's just like really developed slowly but surely. It just started turning out of control.
That's amazing. I always talk to people and I'm like, whatever you do, regardless money or not, just do it for 10 years and just see what happens. Because at that point, you're either going to hit that breaking point where you're like, you know what, maybe I'm more behind the scenes, maybe I'm more that. You know, you kind of, in 10 years, you learn so much. Like I just think about my 20s to my 30s and just in life, I'm like, wow, I learned so much. So I'm like, if it's a passion thing, you know, I know life changes based on where you are and your age. You may be 20, you may have to get the job, but I feel like if you have a passion,
it doesn't stop. It's kind of
and it's like you hit those hurting moments, but it's like you're only month 2. Was it meant to be already? You know, if you're getting to year 8, 9, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like
time to like really analyze and like
come
up with different, you know, different motives or like different, you know, just really. I don't know. I hate to say quit because that's kind of heartbreaking to me to say that word as an artist. Like, maybe you should just quit. That hurts. I can't even say it. Like, but like maybe you should just look at different avenues and like, you know, see get in where you fit in. And it's okay to be like, it's okay to be like, I failed at that because I failed a lot. But the thing was, I analyzed myself a lot. So it's like, if we're gonna fail, we're gonna go over those failures and want to see what went wrong.
Exactly.
And it's okay to say you're trash, yo. Yo, people don't understand that. Like, it's okay to say, yo, say you're trash, bro. Who else is gonna tell you you're trash but you? Like, wouldn't you rather somebody tell you you're trash but you? Like, yo, bro, you're trash. That song's trash. Throw it out. Scrap it. Your voice sucks. Go back.
Criticism helps.
OD. Your own criticism helps. Ego deaths are necessary. Please take a good ego death a month here and there. Like, you know. But
yeah. I think when you're just on that journey, you figure it out. You're like me. As I said, I was making music. And I was doing it about 10 years, and I kind of hit that point. I was like, you know what? I like the behind the scenes. I like the interview things. I like the making the merch stuff. And I kind of ran through that door. And I was like, you know what? So to me, I didn't even look at it as failure. I was just like, I succeeded a little bit, but it wasn't the exact picture. You know, I think a lot of dreams start really big, and I think when you're actually in the dream, you're like, oh, wait. There's a few more dreams I have to get before I get to this master dream. You know, like I wanted to be signed to Kanye from the beginning. Yeah. But you realize, wait, you have to make a classic project before. And like you have to make songs for other people before.
Yeah, you try to buy the whole store. You ain't even shop yet. Like
yeah. So when did you decide to be like public in terms of just putting out songs? Because I know that I meet a lot of people and they're like, oh, I got the hottest song ever. I'm like, oh, so where is it?
That's interesting because that comes with some history of a few people from the island actually, which is so funny. Yes, I used to call up Sith when we were younger, like in high school when I started writing songs. I used to call up Sith. I'm like, yo, bro, Sith, I need you to check this song I'm about to sing. You ready? He'd be like, yeah, bro, sing that shit. And I used to sing like 2 or 3 songs. He'd just be like, yo, bro, that shit fire. You know, so like, and also like my first feature, I used to do songs like but it was like crazy because I was trying to look for the right studio. You know how you're an artist and you're trying to look for that like the right studio with the right vibe. So I was kind of in limbo with that. So my first song that I did was with Morrison. So what's goody, bro?
I'm done.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
It's a good guy to do a first song with.
OD. Well,
Super
ridiculous.
deep into stuff.
Ridiculous. OD. Super duper talented. Yeah, so that's the first song I did with him.
So you were out there, like people
Well,
started seeing your name because of that, or were you kind of
nah.
like a new?
'Cause we
were
were
you
like
incognito? No one really knew the name you were using.
Yeah, we were incognito. Like
Okay.
I was just starting out. At this point, I just was like, I just wanted music. I just wanted content. So yeah, it was just building the content and getting my name out there because this was when the time where I was in college. So, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna work in a newspaper. I'm gonna work the urban column and do some like interview some artists around college. That's my scheme. And then as I'm interviewing them, you're like, yeah, I'm a songwriter, right? So yeah, so getting where I fit in like that.
There you go.
And,
that's what Ludacris did.
yeah, and I was I somehow came across Mo, and I was like, I got this idea, I got this song, and yeah, that was one of the first songs. I don't even want to say the title because Jesus.
He always picks titles that
I
you
pick
may
the
not
title,
be able to
but
say in
I
public.
don't want to say because I don't want y'all to find it.
Got it.
Oh man, I'm not even gonna. Yeah, he knows which.
He picks
one,
good
though.
titles.
Yo,
I'll
please,
just say
bro,
that.
don't say the title of that. If anything, if you're gonna show that, Mo, please just show your part. Leave me out of this. Leave me out of this. They ain't got nothing to do with that. Like, yeah, but I did a feature with him, and then in college I started finding out about more artists. I started songwriting for this artist named Gerard. He's a really good friend of mine.
Oh, okay. I know him.
Yeah. And then I wrote a few songs for him. And he was like, I love these. He made me play in the cafeteria. He's like, he's like, put it on speakers. I was like, what? I was like, you want me to what? Put it on what? He's like, put it on speaker. And bumped into songs, and I'm deadly scared. I'm like, oh my god, if this shit is whack, oh my god, everybody gonna hear it, like shit. He liked them, and yeah, his engineer is not my engineer, so yeah, we share the same engineer, and yeah, that's where EUPHORICON was built and constructed from there. Yeah, he was actually the one who was like, bro, I'm not letting you be a songwriter. I am not letting. That's not happening. You gonna sing something. I'm like, nah, I don't want you. I'd rather you sing it. He's like, no, you're gonna sing something. So, thanks, Gerard. Thank you, Shah, for that.
Yeah, he's a pusher in the pool. Like,
yeah,
he'll be like,
he really is, man. Listen, he is the battery. Sometimes I have to slow him down, and he just like, yo, he is.
He's nonstop.
Yeah,
that kid.
he's one of my best friends. So like, yeah, he was one of the first ones to like really tell me to go at it and just like fuck it, So.
That's great.
Yeah, a few people, because I was really behind the scenes doing my own thing, self-developing. I wasn't really in the spotlight developing. I was really my own test dummy of like, okay, how to become an artist, like trial and error. So,
Word.
And I just had friends that I grew up with, Seth, Mo, just these people just in my life as friends, and they just like really, helped, and I kind of like looked at them, kind of looked up to them, like, and learned off of their mistakes and also learned off of mine, and just, just
that helps.
really intaking things and analyzing them, so.
That definitely helps.
Thank you.
So from that first track, we know you just recently released the new album.
Yeah.
EUPHORICON. From that first song to then,
what happened?
What was that journey about?
That first.
Like, how'd you get from that song with M. that
Okay.
that you that was kind of
yeah,
that's floating in the universe somewhere.
Yeah, that song was a total fail.
To now something where you were out last week.
Yeah.
Sold out bootleg Mannings.
Yeah, thank you. That's dang. Every time you say that, it's just like, dang, that's wow, okay. That's like my heart almost went to my ass, like damn. But really, it was just really a lot of trial and error, man. That song, though I may not like that song particularly, what me and Mo did, it really, without that song, it would not be a Caden. It would not be this type of origin that I've like, that I went through. Honestly, it was trial and error, going to producers. I call it the producer's curse, working with producers, then like their life gets tangled up, and then like projects are lost. This isn't really my first time creating EUPHORICON. Actually, I was like on the cusp of like solidifying songs and stuff like that, and like I had to change producers and I had to start from scratch, and which was like devastating. Like it was devastating, but you know what? When it's your passion, like it really doesn't matter. No matter how much it hurts, it doesn't matter. It's just like keep moving forward. But when I met Gerard and met his engineer, I already knew instantly like, okay, this is where I need to be to record. And as for beats, like everything was just opportunity, like circumstance. I had like a person in college, one of my friends, an acquaintance, and he introduced me to his cousin in Florida, and he gave me the beat to Down Yonder. And from Down Yonder, that was the first song I recorded with my engineer Shah, and that song was the confirmation of like, who's this guy? And at the same time, this was the time when I joined my group L.W.A, Leaders with Ambition. So it's just like this group of collective artists, you know, from chefs to writers to, you know, just a bunch of like creative friends, just get along and come up with ideas and really help each other. And it's a collective of just people from like Brooklyn, Staten Island, Queens, and stuff like that. So it's a nice creative conglomerate of sorts. And when I met them, they got hold of the song, and my friend, his name was Monk. I was like, okay, do you want to be on the song? He's like, hell yeah. So by then, the song came out, and that's what really took me up. My first time, I was like performed at a club, and I was like, whoa, what am I doing at a club on the couch? Like, why am I here? And like, that was crazy. And to hear people like, that's Down Yonder, that's the kid that sings Down Yonder. Oh, that's the kid. Yeah. So, and that was 5 years ago. So yeah, Down Yonder, and then from then on, it was just like, okay, that's the catalyst. That's the sound that I want. That's my sound. That's what I want more of. And yeah, we just kind of built it and constructed EUPHORICON around there. And that's how we did it.
That's amazing. So maybe you could tell us. The name is just cool, you know, because I was like, it's a unit. Like people know unicorn, people know euphoria.
Yeah.
But like, so I'm like thinking all these different things. I'm like, so kind of what's the origin of that name? Like, how did that even?
The origin.
That's like a new name, is that?
Yeah, it kind of is. So it is. It's not even a word.
Yeah.
It's not even a word.
I love when you Google something and it's like nothing there.
I had to jump on that.
But like the name that you gave it.
Yeah. I was in my room.
Cool.
I was in my bro's room. His name is Sensei. He actually produced Legion for me. Me and him together, and I was in my room. We high as hell. Yeah. I was like, you know what, bro? I was angry about something. I don't know. Just deep thinking. I was like, you know what, bro? Life is a beautiful lie. And I was like, it's perfect, but it's perfectly imperfect. Like, he was like, you see all these people plastic surgery just to reach a perception of perfect that does not exist. And you have to lie to yourself to get to it. Like, you have to drop your morality, and you have to, you know, alter yourself. You don't even know who you are at the end of it and stuff. I was like, well, we live in EUPHORICON. And I was like, America is EUPHORICON. You know, it's like we just consume and consume, and we're never satisfied. We're never this and we're never that. And I was like, you know what?
Wow.
It's EUPHORICON. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna rock with that EUPHORICON. And my bro's like, nigga, you high as hell. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna make you watch. And then like, yeah, so that's how it started. And it just sounded so cool to me. And I was like, yeah, EUPHORICON. Yeah. That's honest to God, that's how it started. Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how it started. I liked the name and I just ran with it. And then it became, during writing it, it just became deeper because I wanted all the songs to be 100% me. So I wrote the songs. If they didn't have a feature on it, I didn't want anybody to touch it really. Because it was my story. At the same time, like my journey on like just trying to be myself and trying to be an artist, I had to be myself first, be comfortable in my own skin first before I could become an artist. So that was two different eras of maturing for me. And the first one was actually believe I was talented enough to do this. And that's in itself was a whole depression, you know, of just like being like very gullible in what people and how people perceive me, especially like, you know, people important to you. And for that I had to break a lot of mentalities, a lot of things and habits, toxic habits, the way I talk to myself, the way I, you know, analyze myself, the way I even heard myself. It was, you know, so, and that's what the project is about. It's just about like I said, like ego deaths and, you know, killing yourself to save yourself kind of thing.
Wow.
It's a lot of, a lot of toxic exercises that we pick up from family, from friends. You don't even know it. It's just so comfortable saying it that we don't even know it. And, that's where I feel like, the name EUPHORICON became like, I made it a city of depression in my head. Like each song, if you like line them up, they talk about or have a topic of a stage of whatever kind of depression, from like hating yourself to like escaping yourself to getting confidence about yourself, to like grieving, to moving on, to being blatant out angry about shit. So, each song signified what era I was in or what part of the city I was in and stuff. So yeah, that's where I got that from.
It's cool too, because I'm looking at the cover and I'm pretty sure that's you growing up. And then it kind of looks like, these hands coming out of your head.
Yeah.
And it's like, it could go either way.
Right.
And I see a lot of different scribbles, but I'm sure they mean something. I know they're words. It's just a little hard to make.
Yeah.
And then I see the bees. Are those bees on the cover?
Those are fireflies.
Fireflies.
Yeah, so those
Fireflies are cool.
I love fireflies, man. Fireflies are really cool.
Yeah, they're like a bug you kind of embrace instead of like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, exactly. Like anything, I don't know what's with us. Like if it looks pretty, it can stay. Like if it looks pretty, it can stay alive. So that's how. Yeah, but fireflies are really significant. Like kind of like a guidance type of thing. Like a light. Like I lived in North Carolina for about 2 to 3 years, and it was always fireflies. And I came back up to New York, and there were still fireflies. So like that's a significance there. I really like fireflies a lot. So yeah.
I agree. I like fireflies. I like praying mantises.
Yeah, man.
I don't like too many other bugs. I like bees.
Mantis.
Bees are cool.
Bees
Not
are
on
cool.
me, but
right.
in terms of the world and
for me, I like all bugs except for mosquitoes. I don't know why they're here. I don't know why you're here. I honestly don't.
Yeah, you're like, wait, the circle of life. Like, why? Okay.
I don't get it. It's so many other things. So many other things. As long as bugs aren't interrupting my sleep, I'm A-okay. We good, man. We're good.
It's cool. So then there's one eye kind of showing, and then.
Oh yeah, honestly, man, with the cover art, I curated with this guy I met at a show called Panini. That's his name.
Cool.
Yeah, and he was like, I do graphic design. I was like, word. I was like, cool. And we got together and curated this. Honestly, I'm a visual artist. I'm an artist all around. It's not just music. I like to get my hands on anything and everything, because I just love the journey of creating. Period. So with this one, this was really fun because I got to flex like visual artistry more with this. So we just want to do a really drastic, rugged, but beautiful kind of a piece. And it just signifies the whole theme of the EP. So the black hands, which replicas like the hollows, the monsters. Hollows like basically are monsters, like people who are broken, like past the point of themselves. Like there's no point, just whatever they touch or who they come into contact with, they just spread hate or spread hatred or even inflicting it on themselves, past the point of return. So yeah, so honestly, like, and it's coming out of my head because these are my ideas, like these are my, the way I execute them is through music. But if I didn't have music, I probably would have been a really bad person. Probably. Yeah, I probably would have gotten some trouble, unnecessary trouble. So yeah.
That's deep, man. I was thinking today, I was like, it was interesting because I was just seeing the dynamic of life. I was seeing my sister's dog, who has never even been alone in 2 years of being alive, and like never was in any type of lost innocence moment. Like he has this pure heart. And then I was like just kind of thinking of my friends that have been through like some crazy stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, and people are like, oh, this is more cute than this. And I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, everyone's kind of, beautiful in their own way. It's not like the dog is more cute because nothing went through it. I think I may even give more props to the people that went through stuff and still are shining and still doing their thing, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that, and there's really no comparison, but I just kind of I was just seeing like these polar opposites.
Yeah.
Of like my friends that have like done some bad shit, and then people I know that have been through some crazy stuff, and like they wake up, they do what they gotta do, they make it happen, they follow their goals, their dreams. It was just interesting.
Yeah.
And when I'm looking at the album, I'm like, despite the madness, you still see the light in the darkness.
Yeah. Thank you. See, yeah. Yeah, that's spot on. That's dead on. Wow. Yeah, that's dead serious. That's spot on, actually. I mean, from everything with me, I create from intent. And it, for me, not forcing it has to mean something, but it has to mean something to me naturally, and it has to be coming from a place of honesty for me. So even the words that are scribbled, like if you look really, really, really closely, they're like words from each song.
Got it.
So it's just my favorite lyrics from each song, and my picture, how like I kind of wanted to scribble, kind of to ruin some of the innocence, and take the focal point off of it so you can enjoy like most of it. And because people don't think of like a child's picture to be mutilated or something like that, so I like to like shock people with art. Honestly, that's the most fun. Like, I like to scare people, introduce new ideas, and get people out of their head a little bit. So yeah, man. So it's important for me to just like shock value people. Like, I mean, honestly, we all talking about it. Like, everybody farts. Everybody shits. Everybody shit stinks, by the way. Nobody wants to talk about it. Why is everybody so uncomfortable saying like, yo, I took a shit and that shit look crazy. Like, I think I need to go to the doctor. Like, why is everybody scared of that? But nobody's scared of like singing about mollies or like, or asses and just gunning people down. Like, nobody's scared of that, but like eat the booty like groceries. It took Janae Aiko to say it. Music and art period introduces new ideas and makes people comfortable to say what they wouldn't normally say or live how they wouldn't normally live. It introduces new ideas and new ways of living, and it changes the course of history. And I think people don't really understand that because they use it for like recreational purposes, but if you really, really, really want to do some shit, you could do it through art, period. It's the motor for how we work and run things. So that's what I believe.
Yeah, man, between art and music and food,
really drives the culture.
I'm good. Like,
people don't understand that. Like you want to change the world, you want to change some shit, it has been driven by and molded by music, food, and like culture. Like, yo, seriously,
culture, of course.
Seriously, like,
yeah, and it's just kind of interesting too, because the world is just so caught up with looks and so caught up with, oh, this is the standard or this is the peak of things. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it's just cool because I know you were talking about like being a black man, how you say it's already an obstacle. Yeah. And and you were also talking about that you're not really traditional. Yeah. And you also, we were talking, you sent me, we were looking at the thing you wrote to me earlier, how you kind of, when you see Miguel, you see Usher, you see Bieber, you know what I mean? And then you're kind of coming into that singing space, and people kind of, maybe without even hearing you, expect you to look a certain way. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think it's just a beautiful thing that who you are, you're just running with it. It's like, how much control did you have for how tall you are? You know what I mean? Right. Stuff like that. Yeah, and I love that you're just running with,
honestly,
with the who you are.
Honestly, who gives a fuck?
Exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? I want to see something different. This is the thing I'm talking about. Like, people know what they want, but they never know what they need until it's introduced to them. And it's like, if you want to move music or art, period, you have to be innovative. And we're not going to be innovative by regurgitating the same formulas at all. That's not how it's going to work. If anything, it's just going to be mega boring and just super lame. I don't have a choice in what I don't want. I'm fine with that. Like, honestly, the first person I'm concerned about is me and my mental state and my mental health. Like, how am I feeling about this. I mean, if I was so worried about that, EUPHORICON still would have never been made. I was still trying to be concerned about what I look like, how I look. I mean, of course, with this, like, I'm, like, a spectacle now. I'm, like, in the focal point now. Like, everybody's looking like, oh, yeah, who's this? And what vessel is this vibe coming from? So when they see me, of course, I'm going to get, like, the normal, like, oh, wow, that's how he looks. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm going to get picked apart. But honestly, like, who gives a fuck? I'm really just coming to this thing, like, I don't give a fuck about anything. But not on an arrogant sense, but with the creative side of it. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to make art. And we can definitely talk about business later, but as for authenticity, if I'm not 100% myself, it's not going to go anywhere, and it's not going to be something, it's not going to be a product that you like. The reason why you bump what you bump with my music is because it's 100% authentic. So I'm really not interested in changing or, like, making you comfortable. Art is never comfortable. Good art that was classic and long-living and infamous, was never comfortable. It was always introducing and bringing you into an idea. No matter if you wanted it or not, no matter if you was ready for it, it's timeless at the end of the day. So I'm really not here for, like, the traditional nonsense. I'm really not here for it. I'm not. Yeah.
That's what the world needs.
Yeah, man.
That's what the world needs.
Especially in the state, like, everybody thinks the same. Like, our generation is very impressionable, and we don't consume information as we should. You know, it doesn't stick with us because, like, social media, we're going through, like, it's an emotional warfare when you open up Instagram and Twitter. You read something a second, like, oh yeah, Flint still don't have no water, and then you scroll up and it's like, hey, it's your favorite celebrity birthday, and then, like, you scroll down, it's like, the kids are famished. Like, it's like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad. So it's just like your perception is all fucked up, you know, like, your energy is just, like, very it's not the same. It's not as clear as you want it to be or as you think it is, and you may not think it's affecting you, but, like, try a trick and stay away from your phone an hour. Like, I tried to do that, and my muscle memory, my arm picked up an invisible phone. It was some real shit. Like, I was just like, why are you trying to flip a book? It's not a phone. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just something that you don't know you're doing. So the best way to get people's attention for me is to, like, make them stop and actually think or be introduced to something through art, you know, no matter what it is, music, food. So I kind of do a little bit of everything. That's
real.
Yeah, like the 2 videos I just released, Extract and Down Yonder, I curated those with me and my friends, like director Emmanuel. The director, he lives right next door to me. So I knocked on my friend's door. He's actually part of L.W.A. So I knocked on his door and I was like, I got a treatment. He's like, come in. You know, so it's cool. Literally like that. And also friends that I grew up with, JR from Grounded, San B on Instagram.
Jorge?
Yeah, OD, man.
I met him recently.
That whole family, man, that's my fam. Like, we all grew up together.
Small world.
Yeah. So we got together and curated some bomb shit too. So I just want to help feed my community and the people that I know are just as hungry as me. And so when people see my end product and they say, where'd you get that from? I could just point to the island and it's like, yo, go get them, go work with them. They mad tight. They hook me up. They lit. Go do that.
Yeah, the island I'm a big fan. And you do everything I can to shine light on it. And it's dope to have you here. It's episode 36. It's a blessing. Maker Park Radio.
OD, man.
And that's so cool, man. It's cool that you know, through, you know, as you were kind of talking about, there's all these voices. You were able to find yours. Yeah. Through all the voices in the world, you know, saying certain things, saying this, maybe trying to portray this or get you to do something else.
Yeah, man.
I like that you found your groove, being who you are, and you're running with it. And there's really no other way. You know, once you kind of find you, man, I think that's a euphoric moment where it's like, wow, okay, let's just keep being. Like, people ask me, like, what are my new goals? I'm like, new goals? I'm doing, like, 15 that I had a year ago. And I'm like, in that euphoric moment where I'm like, oh, wait, I'm
once again, like, that perception of perfect or You have to sometimes. I've even noticed how to teach myself how to celebrate the moment, especially with Thursday.
So key.
Yeah, like with Thursday, I'm just like, everybody's like, yo, you lit, yo, you lit, da da da, and I'm just like, yo, nah, I ain't shit. You know, sometimes I have to tell myself to shut the fuck up. I'm so used to like not taking in the moment. Always just used to something going wrong, kind of thing, so I could fix it. You know, it's not like, oh, woe is me. It's just like how, you know, I guess my luck goes sometimes. But yeah, I'm always so in the moment. Sometimes like you just gotta. The best thing for you to do, especially of becoming an adult, a seasoned adult now, learning how to just stay still. Legit, like, yo, just stay still. When everything's going wrong, when it seems like everything's going wrong, like, stay still. And if you need to cry in that stillness, go ahead and cry, but get the fuck back up, you know? So, just, yeah, and it's not like I have it all together. It's just like I'm becoming my friend.
That's
so
key.
I like myself with time more and more, and I'm less harsh on myself. Like I saw this video one time, and it was like, it's how you talk to yourself. Like when your friend messes up, you don't be like, oh my god, you're a fucking idiot, how could you, you're so fucking embarrassing, like now everybody's looking at you. You don't talk to your friend like that. But when you fuck up, you're like, why is wrong with you? Oh my god, you're such a dork. Like, you know, like it's like, why don't you talk life unto yourself? You know, so it was the kind of thing. And Gerard was like, he used to tell me something. He used to joke like, fake it till you make it. When I always was depressed, and he was like, fake it till you make it. I'm like, I do not understand what you're saying. I'm not fake. I can't. He's like, you don't get it. And it was just like, walk in yourself until you get comfortable walking into yourself, kind of thing. And I totally understand that. Like, this project was done, I would say 2 years ago, but like if I didn't have those 2 years of just like self-developing, my ego, my spirit, my mind, to like even introduce this project, I had to believe it. You know, yeah, I knew I could. I created the damn thing. I know I could do it, but did I believe I can do it? Kind of thing. And that was the connection that I did not have. And I recorded the project, and then I had to sit out and be a listener of my own project. So I had to have my project heal me in a sense that I didn't even know I was like, that I needed to be healed. So it was just like a weird aha kind of moment. Like I said, like I had to go through constant deaths just to get in this very room. So it's just like, yeah, kind of mottos and mantras that I have of myself, like, you know. So yeah,
I hear that, man. I just did a recording not too long ago called That Little Voice, and it's really so key, you know, and it literally, I've had moments in my life where that voice is the hard on yourself voice, or even like everything sucks voice. And then it's crazy because then, as you were kind of talking about how you kind of found your own voice, there's not just one voice.
There's many.
So like, but even if there is one, you actually have a voice too.
Yeah, you got a voice.
And you could actually tell that negative voice to shut the fuck up.
Shut
up. You know what I mean?
Everybody shut up.
And then all of a sudden you chin check yourself, and you're like, oh, word.
Right.
And you're just back in the reality.
Right.
And you know what you were saying about you got to love yourself. It dawned on me a few years ago. Who's with me more than me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is some real truth.
And it's so. I think as long as you're good, you could could be good to others. You could accept others in your life. Exactly, you could be with others, stuff like that.
Yeah. So with this like generation, or with like society in general, like it's so annoying. It's like nobody gives anyone grace anymore. Grace is out the window. Grace to yourself, grace into others. Like nobody gives people grace of being human, of making a mistake. You know, and it's so crazy because we do it every day behind our phones. Like, it's some people not washing their ass, but they mad at somebody for like on social media for like,
I know,
on the shade room, like so concerned about somebody making a human mistake of an infidelity. You didn't even wash your hands this morning, Playboy. Like, you still got shit under your nails, bro. Like, you did not wipe your hands after you shake. Like, that's nasty, bro. And you talking about someone else's, like, you know, issues. You know, we don't allow grace, and we're so forgetful that we need it ourselves too. Like, you're so forgetful that you're human. How? You know, So yeah, I mean that's where my like artistry all stems around from. Like I'm just there. I'm just like, bring me the freaks, bring me like the misunderstood, bring me the quiet, bring me the loud, bring me the ugly, bring me the bring me everyone who's just like the misfits or lesser than whatever, the unworthy kind of thing. And that's that's why I create. That's the place that I dwell at in my music.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's a crazy journey we're all on, and I think being good to each other along the way is so key.
Oh, dude.
And I love that you have a very family vibe. It was really nice seeing your family.
Yeah, man.
At the event, and I didn't even know who was or who wasn't your family because everyone seemed like your family there.
Yeah, honestly.
It was cool. It was just a good moment.
Yeah, man. I'm so thankful. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, listen, whether it's 10, 20, whatever, like we just gonna rock out. And like every time I seen people come, it was just like, yo, what the hell is going on? Like I was like, I did not know I was this like loved, like what's going on. I was confused my damn self. So like I was like running off of fumes. I was like, yo, like adrenaline, like so all my friends showed up, seeing them in the crowd, it just really
How'd that feel?
Whew, it made me reflect on myself, really. Just to see the type of caliber that was in the room of people. And then it made me reflect on myself like, damn, like, I really touched all these people in, like, these amount of years. And to have them, like, I have almost little to nothing. I have these 2 songs and 2 videos, which is cool. But, like, that's not enough to be convincing, But they all came on one accord because they fuck with what I do. I mean, if I'm trash, they would have never came. Like, that's real stuff because I don't have those type of friends that just come to like say anything. Even my friend here now, he's just like one of those people like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Like I think that sucks.
Gotta have that realness.
Yeah, I love that realness actually. That's all I want. But that's what was in that room, and like the caliber, it made me really reflect on myself to see the type of people in the room that want to help me, like you, and definitely collaborating with We Just Workin, Starter and Charlie, and just people who see my idea for what it is, fucking with the vibe, and just like, yo, we believe in this thing that you're doing here. So yeah, I'm just very appreciative, man. I'm humbled, appreciative, and yeah, I'm ready to do it again, to be honest. Like, yo.
So how many tracks is this new project?
The project is 7 tracks. 7 tracks long. Yeah.
So if you haven't heard it, EUPHORICON, where is it available?
EUPHORICON right now is on SoundCloud, and it will be up on all platforms in a week or so.
Okay, I checked them. Yeah, and I was like, wait, okay. I saw it on SoundCloud.
Yeah, definitely on SoundCloud. Take a listen. Also, my videos are up on YouTube, Down Yonder, and Extract. And yeah, I'm on Instagram everywhere. So.